Hello and welcome to the Rockies Now podcast. We are a Colorado Rockies podcast. I am one of your co-hosts of the podcast, Tom, and let's get into it. This is the Rockies recap for Game 4 of the 2024 season and the series finale of the opening series against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Let's get into it. Now, it's quite simple. The bottom line is the defense is what cost us in this game. When you commit errors against a great team, they're going to make you pay for it. You can't give a great team extra outs, otherwise they will basically crush you. And the Rockies committed 3 errors in this game, and that was their undoing. And unfortunately, to go along with it, the offense was just pretty lackluster tonight. So let's get to it. Ryan Feltner, it was okay, wasn't bad. It was a pretty good performance. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, gave up 5 runs, but only 3 of them were earned. And he did have 4 strikeouts. So altogether, it's a good start. It's not a bad start to the season for him. The offense, as I said, it was pretty lackluster. Jacob Stallings was the only player in this lineup to get more than 1 hit. He also drove in the Rockies' only RBI. So not much to say about the offense here tonight. But once again, bullpen, solid outing. Jake Bird, and Victor Vodnik, 3 innings combined of relief, no earned runs. They did a good job. And they did a good job. So altogether, looking at the series as a whole, my thoughts on it is, unfortunately, it is a series loss, but we got a victory against the defending National League champions. So to me, that's a pretty good win, that's a pretty good small victory in my book. Let's just say that. Again, offense, I'll say it again. I'll use the same term. It was lackluster, inconsistent. Some guys had good games, some guys that had bad games. Altogether, we didn't score a lot of runs in this series. So again, there are players I can see that need to shake off the rust and really just get their rhythm back, get their swing back. Again, it's one series, it's 4 games. We got 158 games left to go. We'll see how things change and progress. Look at here, the starting rotation, starting with an unfortunate opening day start from Kyle Freeland. They're off to a rough start. There was, again, Feltner was okay. Gomber was good. Kyle Freeland struggled. Of course, Cal Quantrill, a little better, but, nothing great. So altogether, the rotation, they just need to find the rhythm whatsoever after the first 4 games. The bullpen, but they were good. Very solid. I liked what I see out of the bullpen, especially some guys in particular. So again, it would be interesting to see once the Rockies give this bullpen a lead or specifically a save opportunity to protect 3 runs or less. It will be very intriguing to see how this bullpen performs in high leverage situations. Not a lot of high leverage situations in this series for the bullpen to really partake in, but once they're given that chance, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing how they perform in high leverage. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one for sure. So altogether, results from around the National League West. The San Diego Padres today, they beat the San Francisco Giants by a score of 13-4. And the LA Dodgers currently are losing to the St. Louis Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th inning, 4-2. So that's how that goes. Some interesting things after the first weekend of baseball. Here are the teams with 0 losses. You got the New York Yankees who are currently 4-0 after the first weekend. The Detroit Tigers are 3-0. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 4-0. And the Milwaukee Brewers are 3-0. Now, here are the teams, unfortunately, with 0 wins. My Chicago White Sox, unfortunately, are 0-3. The Houston Astros are 0-4. I feel good about that one. The New York Mets are 0-3. And the Miami Marlins are, unfortunately, 0-4. So some interesting looks there based after it's only 1 weekend. Those teams are eventually going to either get a loss or a win, but just a couple of interesting teams there after 1 weekend with either no losses or no wins. So I just thought I'd mention that one. Some things going on around baseball today. En route to their shutout victory over the Minnesota Twins, the Kansas City Royals hit 5 home runs. My goodness. One of them was hit by their young superstar, Bobby Witt Jr., who had a 3-hit game today and also scored 3 runs with an RBI. I tell you, he's an exciting player. I'm very interested to see how he does in his first year after signing that massive extension. Super talented, got a good head on his shoulders. I'm very much going to be keeping an eye on him to see how he does this season. During the Yankees' victory over the Houston Astros today, Juan Soto went 3 for 5 with an RBI. Here's his slash line after for the first 4 games of the season. His batting average, 529, his on-base percentage, 600, and his slugging percentage, 765. Again, I know it's only 4 games, small sample size, but I mean, he's entering, this is his contract year. He's going to enter free agency. His agent is Scott Boras. So that's a pretty darn good start. We'll see how he progresses as the season goes on. Again, 158 games to go for him. He's another guy I'm gonna be keeping my eye on as the season progresses here. In the ninth inning, here's a pretty fun one. What happened in today's Nationals Reds game? In the ninth inning, the Reds were down 5-4. They're down with 2 outs. Their final out here, and then the Reds walk it off with back-to-back home runs from Will Benson and Christian Encarnacion Strand. Whew, definitely a good way to end a series there with a walk-off home run with a walk-off win on back-to-back home runs. That's pretty good. Okay, the next series for the Rockies, they head to Chicago for a 3-game set against the Cubs. In game 1 of that series, our fifth and final starter, Dakota Hudson, will be on the mound for our Rockies, and Shota Imanaga, the new pitcher signed out of Japan, will be on the mound for the Cubs. So there's your set on that. So thank you for tuning into these Rockies recap episodes of your opening series for the Colorado Rockies. Again, this is a new episode series that Steven and I have put together for you, our followers and fans. It's just in case you missed the game, you want to hear our opinions, you want to hear our synopsis and such, feel free to tune in. And always, just be sure, if you ever want to comment, give us your comments on how you think the Rockies did in a particular game or a particular series. Feel free to post a comment down below on any of the video feeds on YouTube or Twitter X, which is where they're posted to, or send us a message on one of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Threads. We love hearing from you guys. You guys are awesome fans. We do this for you. So we appreciate so much for the support and the love that you give us. So again, thank you. And always feel free. We love to chat baseball. And if you want to just feel free to participate. We try to get to any comments that are posted to us throughout our episode tapings. News, we don't know when our next podcast episode is going to be, but we'll be letting you know about that very, very shortly. So that's this. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this Rockies recap episode of the series finale against the opening series of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Please be sure to follow us on all our social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads page. And be sure to click subscribe on our YouTube page to get updates on as new episodes are released, including Rockies recap and regular podcast episodes. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Have a good night, everybody. And as always, go Rockies.